So the primaries are over. How can you be a Democratic candidate for Dekalb Commission District 3 at this point?
The former Commissioner Johnson, as well as former Commissioner Lorraine Cochran Johnson, now CEO-elect, when they resign their positions, by law, there has to be a special election for those seats. April, I believe, the Dekalb County Board of Electors had a meeting after those two former commissioners resigned, and their claim was that they would have to move the election, the special election, to November.
So tell me about your platform and what are you going to bring to the table this time around?
I have a background in economics. I have a degree in that from Georgia State, and one of my certifications was in, urban development. So if you look at Hateville, I always use them as an example because that small city has done a miraculous job in bringing in industry and redeveloping the city. And
there's a lot of great things happening in Hateville, but that started with Porsche.
You have to lure them in.
What can South Dekalb do?
You do the planning first and let the engineers say, well, we can't do it like that, or we could do it like this, but the plan stays in place.
You said engineers don't have any vision?
That's not their job. We have to be in a situation where things are run appropriately for success. I used to attend Midway Park in the summertime. I go by there, I see no children, no anything, no summer programs. South Dekalb YMCA used to have a nice summer program. I remember that's the first time I did archery. I was like 5 years old. Exposure. I'm gonna go back probably 30 years, maybe 40 years, to see what those budgets were, how the money was spent. Even though there's more people, it should be similar. My opinion is that most of the money is being spent on contractors. It's the people's money. We're not even hiring high school graduates to work for the county in these positions that would put money back into the county. We're hiring people. When I see these road contractors, they don't resemble the people in South Dekalb County.
Larry sat in that seat for years. Based on the fact that he sat in that seat so long, you have big shoes to fill. How are you gonna fill those shoes?
No disrespect to him. You know what I mean? He did what he could do. We have officials that didn't grow up in the county. They know nothing about the county. They didn't respect the culture or don't respect the culture. I think that he pulled tricks on people by befriending certain institutions in the community, mainly churches. As a commissioner, I'm definitely going to make sure that the people's money is being spent in a way that's productive. Subbing out all of these services to contractors has basically wasted money over 20 something years at least. Being that we're doing that and continuing to give money to these contractors instead of hiring from within has wasted money. I do want to focus on the youth because they affect us in a lot of ways.
You have any thoughts about reducing crime?
Yeah, we have to give preference to those people who live or grew up in the county, number one, because they're familiar, and let them work their neighborhoods. They do that in New York. You know, the Jewish cops work in the Jewish neighborhood, the Chinese cops work in the Korean.
Community
exactly.
Policing, yes.
You know, what we do, we hire people from Forsyth County, Barnesville. Like these people come a long way to come to work. They seek employment outside of their own community. We've already gone down the rabbit hole of blocking everybody up. It didn't work. That's why the youth are out of control, because when you take men out of the community for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years in some cases. You're gonna have a chaotic community by nature. And when you eliminate the leader, or you emasculate the leader, then you're gonna see a downfall in that particular community. I'm self-funded. I'm not beholden to anybody other than the community. See, but the community has to ask themselves, who's funding these other people? Because who's ever funding these other people are their boss. I don't have a boss. I've been self-sufficient for a very long time. We gotta start paying attention to the issues. Who are we electing as judges? Who are we electing as commissioner? Who are we electing as CEO? Who are we electing as the mayor? What are their policies? Because if you're a woman, I'm gonna elect a woman. If you're a man, I'm gonna elect a man. If I'm black, I'm gonna elect somebody black. Man, that's backwards.
I don't agree with that either. I thought about that as I served as commissioner. I was the only one on the board. The county was changing, and can't tell you any lies. And I said, I wonder what it would be like if this board turned majority minority. Impacts of that, I think, has kind of ruined the vision of the county. You can see that there is a change in the environment and the lifestyle in Henry County. You can just see the road that Henry County is on, but we haven't fallen off the cliff yet, and it's going to take real educated citizens to really take a look at what's going on in terms of the increase in taxes. I think we have, over the last 4 years, have seen a $60 to $70 million increase. That never happened when I served on the board. I mean, did we have a slight millage increases? We did. But we weren't going up $10, $15 million a year in taxes. When you start increasing taxes on citizens, especially the citizens that fund the budget in the county, those citizens are eventually going to leave. Counties like Henry County and other smaller counties, we don't have the commercial tax base, so the citizens end up funding the majority of the services.
Seems like now, even though we have the internet and all of this kind of stuff, there's either no interest in the policies of elected, like even the turnout for the elections is terrible.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. People have lost interest. African Americans are losing interest in the Democratic Party. You see people supporting Trump for president right now. I remember when the Republican Party was only getting 2 to 3% of the African American vote. I think that number is up near 30%.
Georgia started having this, what they call ballot access laws during the Jim Crow era. 1922 was the first one. It's been in this current role for 9 statewide candidates since 1943. You hear people say, oh, Republican, Democrat, Independent. There really, in most places, there's no such thing as an independent. You can't access the ballot as an independent. But a lot of people don't know that. We are forced to align ourselves with the Democratic Party. Okay?
Why?
We've been brainwashed into thinking that the Democratic Party is for black people. And I'm not saying...
Every piece of major legislation has been passed by or with strong support of the Republican Party.
I like the conversation because it needs to be had by somebody. I'm not saying switch from the Democrat to the Republican, but...
I'm saying just be an independent thinker.
Be an independent thinker. Just like Martin Luther King Jr. was. Because Martin Luther King Sr. was a Republican, right? Martin Luther King was an independent, and he got things done because he didn't go in aligning with one party over the other. he aligned with.
What's
I need my people to get something out of this legislation. What we have now is people that's selling out. They get paid. These people get paid. They get paid to go on TV, to go on the radio. Why the border is wide open is because the Democratic Party is losing faith in black people. They like, look, man, we didn't gave y'all the crumbs for 60 years.
What crumbs?
The few crumbs.
What crumbs, man? What crumbs?
Welfare, Section 8.
Those two things destroyed the black family.
And that's a whole nother. I'm just saying, how people look at it. But we support everybody else's agenda. We supported women's rights. We supported the 3 strikes law that went against us. We supported the LGBT. They got married. We supported the Asian hate bill and a whole lot of other stuff.
Everything.
But every 4 years, they come with the checks. Our so-called leaders get the checks, and then they tell us that the Republicans are racist, and the Democrats, they ain't done nothing for us yet, but they will
soon,
and just keep voting for them. See, no matter how we feel about the system, whether it's fair or unfair, it's the system. Because that's not how the rule is played. That's not how the game is played. So we constantly losing because we don't even know how the game is played.
And the Democratic Party has shifted. The Republican Party used to be the party of power and money. And I don't know when that transition took place, but it took place over the last decade.
I'm for equal opportunity. If a woman can do a job the same as a man, who's ever, they should have the same opportunity. I think that debate is over with. But there are jobs or careers or trades that we aren't pushing these young men into that most women probably not going to do. They're not going to get on the roof in the middle of the summer. Okay, but I don't see any black roofers. A lot of women ain't gonna be plumbers. They don't want to deal with waste.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see a lot of our black young men going into plumbing. I don't see a lot of programs geared to the black young men anymore. I see girl power. I'm all for that. But where is the empowerment programs for the young men?
Is that something you plan to implement?
That's one of my main things. I'm for free trade schools, or at least subsidized. Because at one point in time, we were brick masons, we were carpenters, we were roofers, we were plumbers. Those jobs pay. Ask the people that's coming across the border. Those jobs pay. Everybody's not going to be an athlete. Everybody's not going to be a rapper. Everybody's not going to go to college. But if you learn the skill of a carpenter, of an electrician, of a plumber, of a heavy equipment operator, of a truck driver, whatever, you can support yourself and a family.